Hey everybody, it's time to spin that wheel again. Let's find out what I'm reviewing now. Oh boy. Keep waiting for Archon to come up. I'm excited for that one. Kyle is famous. Let's find out what Kyle is famous for right after this. Okay, so I think that the best way to proceed on this one, like obviously I don't do this for all the games that I review, but this one it's probably best that I play it and review it at the same time because it's a really silly little monkey of a game. I bought Kyle is Famous because it reminded me of Reigns, where it's, it's text and you're making choices and then your choices affect your ability to make more choices, and then you find yourself with an ending, and then you can start all over again and do things differently if you want to. Anyway, so it's an interesting little monkey. I just finished my first playthrough, and we're going to do another one. We're going to start.
Kyle woke up. He is famous.
He sure is. Okay, Kyle, let's see what you got for today.
Kyle is host of the most popular talk show in recent memory, Stay Up Late with Kyle.
I love that show.
Stay Up Late with Kyle has grown in popularity quickly in the last year, and the public has noticed.
I'm going to turn up the sound on the game a little bit because I think it needs it. Here we go.
Inside has called Kyle a most excellent dumpy white man.
Ooh, I'm one of those.
Top Tech noted that Kyle is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields.
I wonder if that, I wondered last playthrough if that was just a randomly generated line.
Most
it's
other
not.
talk shows are dedicated to discussing Kyle and his personal details. Most online videos are best of clips taken from Kyle's latest broadcast.
I mean, we all know Kyle. I should just skip this because we're all so familiar with Kyle. He's so famous.
The eye of the world is upon Kyle.
Indeed it is. All right.
Tonight is Kyle's most important guest interview yet. Stay Up Late with Kyle will be featuring Rachel May. She is a kind and lovely philanthropist.
All right.
She is dear to the hearts of many. This interview requires preparation.
Indeed it does.
Kyle cracked his eyes open, knowing today is his last chance to prepare for the interview.
Real quick thing that bothers the ever-loving crap out of me. This is a typography bit of nonsense, but look at all of these lovely letters. Good-looking font. All of them have serifs. Serif here, serif there. Where is the serif on the Y? Why are the Y's the only letter in this alphabet that has no serifs? Maybe the other letter... No, because P's have descenders. They're not as descendy as the Y's, but why? Why no serif on the Y? It really bothers me. Anyway, moving on.
Kyle has 30 hours left. He must choose his actions wisely.
Okay, I'm going to try and make terrible choices and see where that gets us. Ooh, wither away.
Kyle decided to stay put and wither away. Kyle withered successfully and died.
I wondered if this was one of those games.
Kyle is now a ghost.
Oh,
this does not relieve him of his
sweet.
responsibilities.
I'm a ghost. That's going to save me some time because now I don't have to worry about eating. Last time I forgot to eat. Okay, so I'm going to scavenge again.
Kyle quickly crouched down on the floor,
because the gossip is pretty cool.
Need for... Kyle firmly pressed his ear into the carpet, hoping to hear some stray words from the neighbors below.
Oh, and I do.
I heard Rachel May is going on a trip out of the country soon. Oh, girlfriend, tell me more. Well, what I will tell you is that every night I don a mask that looks like a bug and fight misdoers.
Oh my God, the night bug. For real? My neighbor, the night bug?
There was a stunned silence. Then a door opened, and someone exited the neighbor's apartment.
Okay. All right. So, first of all, I need to
Kyle
scavenge.
quickly crouched down on the floor, realizing his immediate need for...
Gotta get some
Kyle
bugs.
started to pick between the fuzz of his bedroom carpet, hoping to catch a stray beetle or two. Soon, he had a small handful of various insects, dead and alive.
Eat them.
Kyle threw back his head and crammed
Gotta
the
eat the
sticky,
bugs.
wriggling mass into his mouth. He felt refreshed.
Of course they did. Ghosts can eat bugs. Don't tell me ghosts can't eat bugs. The ghost in my house is all it ever does. Okay, I need to open the closet. Need to choose an outfit.
Kyle decided to take some time to choose the perfect outfit, knowing how important appearance is.
Jeans and swimming
Kyle
goggles.
decided on a fashion-forward, casual style. He could barely see out of the goggles.
Hey, but that's the price of fashion. We all know you gotta squeeze yourself into whatever works. Okay, back to the room. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna sit at the desk. Gotta write some notes.
Kyle wrote down his first question. Kyle wrote down his
there we
second
go.
question.
Mashed or blended
Kyle
beef?
wrote down his third question.
Ooh, I want to know the funniest
Kyle
story.
wrote down his last question.
Are you
Kyle
guilty?
ripped his page of notes out of the notebook and got up from the desk.
Okay. Gotta check that drawer. Gotta get, assorted change. Gotta
Kyle
get some
scooped up the
change.
change scattered around the desk drawer.
Yeah, I got some change. Okay, back to the room. Gotta exit the hallway. Ooh, let's, oh no, I got no time. I gotta
Kyle
hurry.
hurried to the set. Per normal, he ceased to be a ghost before he arrived.
What? I quit being a ghost? Man, I was enjoying being a ghost. Oh well. I guess it makes my clothes fit better. You got my casual snorkel. Anyway, yeah, this game is silly. It's a silly goose, and I like that.
Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity.
Ooh, genuinity. Love
As
it.
Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled.
Okay,
Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here.
let's act weird.
Kyle responded.
Last time I screamed and spun in circles. I could answer politely this time.
And I as well, Rachel, answered Kyle, extending his hand in greeting. You are a most welcome guest. After other mild exchanges of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast.
All right.
A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on.
Ooh, let's gossip about my neighbor.
Good evening, everybody, said Kyle. My neighbor is a bug vigilante.
I'm totally outing my neighbor.
With nothing more to say on the matter, he fell silent.
Wow, nobody cares? Nobody cares that, like, my neighbor is, I don't know, someone who knows the tick? I'm guessing she knows the tick. How could you not? Because, you know, bug vigilante superhero types gotta know other bug-based vigilante superhero types. Everybody know that. Anyway, let's see.
Rachel, also on camera, stared at her hands and wondered when she was going to be introduced. The producer started cutting to different camera angles to break the tension.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Kyle continued to remain silent and stare forward blankly. After several minutes, neighbor Gabby walked out onto set.
Oh, did she?
Hi, everyone, she said, smiling hollowly. My name is Gabby, and I'm not a bug vigilante.
Oh, aren't you?
False. Kyle looked at Gabby and then returned to staring forward.
False.
Gabby
I am
began to
killing
reply,
this
but was
interview.
interrupted by a bug-shaped intercom on her belt.
Of course she was. I'm telling you, this game is a silly goose.
Bug girl,
It squawked.
a robbery's in progress on East 3rd. Report immediate.
Gabby threw the intercom on the ground and crushed it under her foot.
Oh my god, what a silly goose of a game.
After a beat, she spoke tightly. Something has come up suddenly and I must go.
I wonder what it is. By the way, this game has something like 95 different endings, so that's fun.
Gabby left the set. Well, said Kyle, That's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for joining us, Rachel. Kyle got up,
Yeah,
shook Rachel's
take
hand
that,
again,
Rachel.
and walked past the cameras, leaving her alone.
This is what you get for being a philanthropist.
Not knowing what else to do, the producer ended the broadcast. In the coming days, fans of both Rachel and Kyle dubbed this show as a masterpiece of television.
Because it was. I mean, you saw what happened.
Stay Up Late with Kyle's online pages were updated to reflect this broadcast as the most popular ever.
Telling you, this is why I'm famous. I just know how to make a show happen.
Kyle's producer later tried to have Rachel on the show again, but she was very, very, very busy.
Okay, so let's reset to the interview.
Kyle hurried to the set. Per normal, he ceased to be
Okay, we're
sitting
gonna
across from his host
we
chair.
know she's a woman
As
with
Kyle
ingenuity.
approached her, Rachel looked up
We're gonna
and smiled.
approach her.
Good evening. Kyle
We're gonna
responded.
scream and spin in
Kyle
circles.
stretched his arms wide, was interrupted by his producer telling him and Rachel that it was time to start the show.
Oh, but let's not let that stop us from screaming.
Kyle
and
shoved his
spinning in
producer out of the
circles.
way, spread his arms wide, and began to scream loudly.
Yeah, he did.
He began to rotate slowly, screaming throughout, lightly brushing his hands against the faces of Rachel and his producer. After
Yeah.
several minutes, Kyle was finished. He slowly put his hands to his sides and smiled. "I'm ready," said Kyle.
Yeah, that's me. I'm ready. Let's have an interview.
Rachel blinked at Kyle, shrugged, and walked over to her seat.
Okay, here we go.
A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. "Good evening, everyone," said Kyle, looking at the camera. "Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle." Kyle vomited all of the horrible things he had eaten
no.
earlier onto the floor.
Oh, come on. I thought eating the bugs is what I was supposed to do.
Rachel looked at Kyle, concerned, gave a couple coughs, and decided to play it cool and keep the show running. Kyle stopped, then vomited again, then continued with a shaky voice.
Oh, my fans are going to love this, though. I guarantee it. I guarantee this top ratings, even better than the last one.
"Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction." Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. "Hello, Kyle," she said. "I'm glad to be here." "Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss. So we might as well dive right in."
Here we go.
"I'm very ready," said Rachel with a winning smile. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier.
Okay, so, this was my first question.
"So," said Kyle, "my mother is a mother. My mother's mother is her mother, and my mother's mother. And many mothers have mother's mother's mother. Is your mother a mother?"
Yeah, I want to know, because if her mother's not a mother, I'm kicking her off the show right away.
Rachel went to answer and stopped. "I believe," she said eventually, "that I should answer yes?" Kyle asked another question. "A burning question from the fans," said Kyle. "Beef, do you prefer it mashed or blended?"
You want that meat shake? Hey, kudos to you if you know about Meat Shake. Great album. You know that if you know that. If you don't know that, learn about that. Meat Shake. Great, great album.
Rachel answered promptly, "Mashed," and no more was said on that matter.
Okay.
Kyle asked another question. "You've been involved in a lot of different things," said Kyle, "but what's
She
your
better
funniest
kill this.
story?"
She better crush it.
"Well, that's a great question, Kyle," said Rachel. "I think the story I always remember is the first time I tried to make dinner for my family."
All right, this better be hilarious. Come on, Amelia Bedelia it.
"In the soup I made, I swapped out the water with milk and tipped the whole jar of salt in the pot.
Oh, that's some Amelia Bedelia business right there.
While my family was sick from trying to eat it, I swiped their things and locked myself in my room."
There you go. That's philanthropy.
Rachel laughed elegantly.
This woman sounds incredible.
Kyle decided to move on. Kyle asked another question. Rachel.
Are you guilty?
Kyle threw his questions on the floor, stood up, and pointed at her. Rachel's eye twitched slightly. Guilty of what?
Oh,
dear
she
Kyle?
knows.
She smiled
She
disingenuously.
knows.
Guilty
Spat Kyle.
Of your crimes. She knows.
Rachel did not answer. Her eyelids both started twitching uncontrollably.
Oh, I'm gonna blow the lid on this.
After reading his final question, Kyle looked up from his paper. Well, Rachel, he said, I think that's all I was planning on asking you.
What a quality show.
If that's the case, Kyle, may I ask you something in return?
No, it's a
asked Rachel,
trap.
smiling one more
It's a
time.
trap.
Why exactly did you decide to wear swimming goggles today?
Yeah. I'm keeping it casual.
Before Kyle could answer, the camera shut down.
I'm
the
keeping it
broadcast was
casual.
over. Kyle returned home knowing the interview had gone well.
Yes, it did.
But as he lay in bed and drifted to sleep, he felt that perhaps something was still missing.
Okay. Yeah. More world options. Cool. Okay. Kyle prepared very well. So yeah, like I've now played this through a couple of times. I don't think I have begun to get to the bottom of it, but I can see exactly what kind of game this is, and I was right. It's very similar to Reigns. It's one of these text-based choice games where the choices matter, but like this one's a total silly goose. It's a silly goose. And quite frankly, like I will tell you the truth on this, because I think I got this one in conjunction with some other games that I bought. And so I definitely didn't overpay for it. And I think that this is a solid choice as long as you don't overpay for it. I did not look at the Steam price before I started. But you know what? I'm going to pause real quick. I'm going to put a final score on it. And part of my final score is going to be determined by how much they're charging for this. Because if it's more than like $3-4, then, for a game like this, that gets a little, like, it is voice acted. I like that. That is nice. But, like, I don't want it to be too expensive for what it is. Because I feel like in a certain price range, like, it's a definite good pickup. So, give me a second. I'll put a final score on it. Okay, so here's where we're going for Kyle is Famous. I'm going 7 out of 10. Part of that is because the game is actually newer than I thought. It's received positive reviews in general, and I am behind that. I just think that, this is hard to say. Like, because I know this is somebody's baby, and I'm pretty sure this is, like, very small development team, and so I don't want to be that guy who's like, you charge too much for your games, like, because I know what it's like to have a passion project that other people are like, but I don't know if I want to spend lots of money on it, and you're like, it's not that much, it's competitively priced with other things, but in my brain, this is like a $4 game. And like a $4 game, I'm like over the moon about it. Love it. It's a $9 game. And I don't think it's ever been discounted. I wasn't ever able to find a discount. I don't know if I don't think I paid $9 for it. Like, but I've looked at all through the Steam price histories and I was unable to find anything. So I don't know. I just don't know. I think maybe I got it as part of a bundle, and that's why it was cheaper. So anyway, take that as you will, grain of salt it. But like, yeah, it's fun. There's 117 different endings. I said 95 earlier. That's because I knew it was a whole bunch, and it was just guessing at the number. It's 117 different endings. And it's super fun. I put it with 7 out of a possible 10 Reigns cards because, if I'm being perfectly honest, I would say if pressed to it, and you are pressing me to it, stop pressing me anyway. But if pressed to it, I would say that Reigns is a superior game. Just, it strikes me in a perfect spot. It reminds me very much, Reigns does, of my brother who passed away a couple of years ago. Makes me very sad because, like, he would have loved that game. I know 1000% cash money that is exactly up his alley. And so Kyle is Famous gives off a very similar vibe. It's very similar gameplay. Text is the most important part, and making choices and then having those choices matter. Yes, definitely love the gameplay style. I'm not thrown by the text-based nature of it or anything. Yeah. So I really do like this game. Don't think that I don't. I'm just explaining why it's a 7 out of 10 and not an 8 or a 9, which is where other people might have it. But like for me, it's just a little more than I'd like to pay for a game of this type. But that's just me. Feel about that however you like. Speaking of prices of things, well, 2 things. Number 1, for those of you who like the short versions of my videos, this one's not going to have a short version. Sorry. I recorded this live while I was playing the game, so how could I make a short version unless, like I had a very short playthrough? That's just not happening. And so that's number 1. Number 2 is that fun fact. We signed the papers. We did a digital signing to sell our house. It's going to close on Monday, and then we will have the funds that we need to buy the house that we're going to buy here. And we'll be able to move into that house in about a month. So excited. So glad that these wheels are finally turning. They move so slowly. For those of you who have ever bought and sold houses, you know that it could be like, oh boy, like, hurry up. I'm living out of boxes, like living in a decent house that we are renting, but it doesn't feel like home, and it feels like I'm living in squalor because I'm just, everything's in boxes. We didn't like set up our bed frame because we're like, I don't want to haul the bed frame upstairs if we're just going to haul it back down in a month. And so like our mattress is just on the floor, things like that. It's not quite quality living. And so like that's how I've been living for a little bit. And also my computer setup is not ideal. Everything is not ideal. Everything will be better in like a month. So, and hopefully my life will be more settled. I'll be able to feel just better about everything. So I thought I'd throw that in there so that y'all who care about what goes on in my life can know about what goes on in my life. Things are moving, things are happening, good times. Taking the wife out on a date tonight to celebrate the sale of our house. And that's a good time. So anyway, people, thanks for being here for this one. Oh, by the time you hear this one, my house will have sold. So hooray, hurrah. There we go. It's going to be a big deal. Anyway, people, thanks for being here for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know these text-based games are not for everyone. One last thing. I know that I threw in casually, I was like, maybe I should do a hidden gems on Steam thing. And somebody was like, yes, do that. And I put a list together, and I feel like it's a lot of games that I've already talked about a lot on this channel, but you know what? Like, whatever. I think I need to just put out a list and be like, these are some games, because that might draw some people into the channel who might not otherwise see it, because, like, I do tend to, review some obscure games, But maybe if somebody's like, what are some hidden gems on Steam, then they'll find their way to the channel, and that'll help me out, and it'll help you out, and we'll get some more cool people here to enjoy the things that we do. Anyway, but all those of you who are already here, thank you for your support. It means the world to me. I love the fact that we have like a community of people who just generally have a similar vibe. That just, it's everything to me. So anyway, thank you. Hope you enjoy the game. There will be more content later in the week. We'll see if I can get that Hidden Gems video going at some point. I have the list. I just need to capture a whole bunch of game footage to be able to make it. So it's going to take some editing, but it'll come out at some point. Just know that that's in the works. Okay, enough rambling. Thanks for being here. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.